Hey everybody, what's up? This is
Hello.
Jack and Spy. We are back in a
Yeah,
in a
yeah, this is
video
gonna happen
together.
in a little bit.
Yeah,
I know.
I know. Like, and we're not even in
No,
one
we're
another's
we're
presence
lazy
right now.
today.
So,
You live 10 minutes from me, and I ain't coming to your house.
right, it's cool. So, today's video is getting recorded early, but it is we're going to go over update 35 lost depths for the Elder Scrolls
I'm real
Online.
not happy. They let Todd in the building.
Um, Yeah, look, all right. Let's give the too long. I'm gonna do the too long didn't
Right,
read
right, all
kind of
right.
thing real quick. So, so this is a continuation of the legacy of the Bretons, much like all the DLCs and stuff last year with Waking Flame and all that. Um,
So yeah,
so this is gonna be a rough update. So we are getting the Earthen Root
yeah, like
Enclave
we're
dungeon.
getting that dungeon.
Uh,
Like that's gonna be fun.
yeah, and then we're getting the Graven Deep
Like both of
dungeon.
these look interesting to me. See, look,
Um,
listen. We got Earthen Root, all right, and it's about druids, and then we're gonna go fight some sailors. Like that's
yeah,
all right. I'm Elder Scrolls Den. You know, you got me.
yeah, right. So the so this here says coming soon to the PTS. Now this video is actually going to come out the day that it comes to the PTS. Um, we're working on the weekend here. So this is currently not live. This is a preview actually of update 35. It goes live on the PTS on Monday, July 11th, which is if
I
you're
don't know
watching
how
this
this is gonna.
today.
I don't. All right.
Um,
So before we even really get in, like fully, I don't think this is gonna go live like this. There's no way. There's no way that by the time it hits PTR
it's
or PTS, people are gonna test this out, and there's gonna be changes before it hits main game. That always
yeah,
ends up with patches anyway, though.
yeah. Like I'd I'd be real just shook if it hit the live servers the way that which we'll
Right,
get into
right.
that, but um so the expected release date, or they're saying that the release date for uh, update 35 base game patch and Lost Depths DLC will arrive for PC and Mac and Stadia on
Mm-hmm.
August 22nd, and Xbox and PlayStation
Right.
consoles September
Well, like they
6th.
always get it
So
after it's been bug tested on PC, on the live servers for a little bit. Yeah, they throw
right,
us in the
right.
thick of it for a little bit, and then console guys get the game whenever they actually finish it. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah. All right. So we got the we got the pretty page here. So now we're gonna
Right,
hop
right.
over to the forums
And this is gonna
and
hurt. This is gonna hurt.
to the nitty gritty. Yeah, it's man, it's
Is this
real.
about waving? Is this
This
about
this is
weaving?
real.
Are we getting in? Are we like
Yeah.
for
So
real
like, all
jumping
right,
into weaving
okay.
right now? Because I don't know if my heart can take it. Like,
Look, there's combat changes
no, it's not
are the
okay. It's
biggest
not.
by far in update 35. They're the biggest. So
These are
this first
overwide,
one here
sir. Like these are
is a
full-on
change.
changes to the game that we're about to talk about. These
Yeah,
aren't
yeah.
just
This is
right and
structural change.
like weapons. All right, let's get in. Like I'm just
All right, so all right,
yes.
so we got weaving. For anybody that doesn't know, just in case you're new, because we're trying to cater to beginners right now as well. Weaving, for anybody that doesn't know, is like ESO has a global cooldown of
Right.
1 second for abilities. In between that,
Mm-hmm.
you can light attack. So what weaving is ability, light attack, ability, light
Right.
attack, ability, light attack. So you know. Now, I'm gonna get like the first
Well, like just
couple of
to be
paragraphs
clear,
here.
a lot of what this is
So
talking about, it's more than just weaving as well. Because weaving is one thing, but you can also animation cancel as well, and really push it a lot farther
yeah,
than just ability hit. Ability hit. You can push it farther, and that seems
right,
to be what they're trying to
right.
stomp out.
Yeah, because like, look, fast
Mhm.
jabs is a thing. Well, all right, just okay for reference. You know what? As a matter of fact,
Right.
I'm going to read it word for word. For reference, in many of ESO's high-end experiences and activities, the average build sees roughly 15 to 20% of their overall damage coming from light attacks alone, which is a huge contribution to the delta of power that we see. Now, let's think about this for a
Yeah.
second.
Which
15 to
is that's a
20%
good chunk of your damage.
of
That's a whole fifth, right?
yes, it is. Yeah, so let's say because like all right, good damage. I'm gonna try and be as objective as possible.
Hard to
Good
find.
damage is like right around 40. Good, yeah, it's hard to find, but right right around like 40k, somewhere within like 1 or 2k of 40k
I would say that's
is good damage,
yeah, I
right?
could
Like
run with that easy. I mean, we do that about on our main builds, right? And I would even say that like if you're not going hard mode, you can get away with 20, 30k. Depends on what kind of content you're doing though. I mean as well.
yeah, yes, yes, it does, and it's so all right. 15 to 20% of 40k is
That's
what, like
yeah,
it's
8,000 damage.
8k,
Just
right?
basically it's going to be well, actually you're not going to lose 8,000. What you're going to do is you're going to lose 4,000. And now it's all flat damage, where it's no longer
Yes,
going to get the same benefits
right,
from all your gear. So we're going to see some real problems with that, I think, because in this, they're making it flat damage. And like, I'm starting to wonder,
right,
like, how many people exhaust. Like, I'm gonna might catch a little flag for this, but like, how many of them like actually play the game? And I wonder why they let Todd Howard in the building, because like this is some real
right.
Morrowind math. You know what I mean? Like we grew
So
out of this.
you know, like, I think the Elder Scrolls 6 Morrowind
Like
would be a
don't
good
let him
idea,
touch
but like,
Varnfell
all
again.
right, so
No, Todd's not
it's
allowed.
all right. Listen, 15 to 20% of overall damage
Mm-hmm.
comes from light attacks alone. Okay,
All right.
that's an average because different people wear different sets. So the adjustments internally, okay, while testing internally, they saw a damage reduction of 6 to
Which
11%.
is
Okay,
yeah,
which is
it's
half
sucky. It's
of
a
the
sucky
damage.
loss.
And you know it is. It's because if you got to build and you're real good, because here's the thing, this is a
Yeah, like you got
game,
to learn the feat.
and
Like,
like
and this
it's
is
a
a
game,
player-driven function that we, the players, found, but they seem to want to
hmm
support it. So, like, I don't know why they're making it. Like they say they want to support it, but at the same
right?
time, they're taking all of the usefulness of it and dwindling it down. And like now, I don't even know if it's really worth it to really light attack weave as much.
It's it may not like my all right my I'll go ahead and say it up front. Like I know we're kind of getting off in the depths
Right.
without without discussing the
Yeah.
other change yet, but my biggest problem with this is they put this out and then didn't really give a good explanation of what exactly it means. Okay, all right. So we're reducing light and heavy attacks impact
Right.
and damage production by adjusting their damage to deal a flat amount. All right,
Right. So what?
regardless of stats, by
Okay.
the way.
So what does that mean overall?
Right? Does it interact? Does it
Does
interact
it
with
interact with
crit
weapon
chance?
damage?
Because some
Like, does
set
your weapon damage function?
right, and it says It says regardless of stats. So what's the flat amount? First off, how do you determine the flat amount? Second, can it crit? There are sets in the game that require a crit, light or heavy attack.
And I
to
think
proc.
those are gonna.
Zons off
I
the
think
top
those
of
are
my
gonna. I
head.
think
And
you're still gonna be able to crit. Like I don't see them ever removing that part of it. But the problem is that they didn't. They said
it
flat,
says flat.
which is they've used flat before to
Right.
say that it doesn't crit. It's
Right,
real
'cause
finicky.
like Zons doesn't crit, but it requires a crit
Right.
in order to
And
proc it.
like that was the whole thing with Zons as well. Didn't they say that was flat damage on that?
Something I don't remember the exact wording, but like flat
Right.
is a real
Like
vague word, right? Especially when you attach
right. We need to
regardless
know
of stats.
what stats affected. And because for me, right, like as soon as I saw this and we were talking about it, I just jumped on a sorcerer, put a bow on my character, got Undunted Bastion, Balthazar's
Yeah.
Band, and Hiss Whispers, and like I just light attack now and do like decent damage, and I think it's gonna get worse after this because if it's flat stat, that's easier to stack with what I just said. That would translate even better, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like in number wise.
Yeah, because like, all right, you got a set that gives you sustain, and then you have a set that like buffs
Right, from doing one thing.
your
Yeah.
light and heavy attacks.
Like
from
look,
doing
scroll
exactly
down a
from
little
a
bit.
button
Like
press.
look, they've heard the cries of the heavy attack build lovers. You know, the people who are playing Skyrim right now.
Right. Yes.
And Elder Scrolls Online. Like
Look, I'm gonna take this once it's live. This is very serious. I'm gonna take this. I have a Dragonite. I'm gonna build that flame staff Dragonite that like one bangs people, and then
like
you can hear
if
some
it's flat
cries.
stat,
That's gonna happen.
doesn't that mean it's gonna scale different? Like that's what it means, right? Is it scaling different? So now equipping anything,
I don't even know.
like
I don't even know if there is a
right,
scale.
and like
It said flat.
like well, we
What's-
have
what's
flat
flat?
percentages in the game, but I don't know. Like, does that is your 1335 gonna be your damage from your flame staff, your legendary flame staff, or is your weapon damage at
Right.
4,000 or 5,000? Is that gonna be taken in as your flat stat, or is your flat stat a
Right,
mix,
because
like
those
in between
things.
somewhere? What do we?
Right.
What are we saying?
Right. Like, what's this going to do to Nernhorn
Like,
or Nernhorned?
yeah,
If
Nern.
I'm murdering the word, but anyway, like all that stuff goes into that. You know, the 1335 goes into your weapon damage. The trait that your weapon has goes
I think
into it. You
it's
know,
gonna
if it's
do both
Nernhoned,
now, right?
like
I mean, it would just do both because it increases your weapon's damage, but like maybe it won't go into your weapon damage anymore.
like possibly, I don't know. I just my biggest problem here is flat
If-
amount regardless of stats.
Yeah.
That is an
If
extremely
Nernhorn
vague
ends up, if
description of what they're getting
Nernhorn
ready
ends
to do.
up being weapon damage only and not adding to your weapon, like your overall damage number, that would be a change that wouldn't make
Yeah.
it to servers. There's no way.
These are like right, because like back to what we were talking about just a minute ago before we got dove off into this. Like, this is a structural change to the game. It's not like this
And
is a
they say
systematic
here
change.
the aim is to not hurt
And it-
or not harm low end experience and target only the higher end. Like the problem is like I understand that
Yes.
because WoW had the same problem and is now suffering from that problem where they built for only the high end players. But this right here, I
Right.
understand that a lot of damage comes from it. But you don't have to
Well-
really do it to be effective. Like I hate this. Like I know some people are gonna say, "All right, you should, and you absolutely should." But like you can build a build that
Yes.
doesn't if you really don't want to interact with it much. And that's fine. Like, there are builds out there that you can
Right.
find. Like, that's why I build the Warden with so much, stamina recovery for that exact reason. Because I just don't like
Right.
doing it much. That's a personal thing. But
Right. Like throwing in every
right,
now and then. It's not, and it's not even that because you're right. There's someone is going to listen to this and there's going to be a comment and they're going to be like, you're not light attack
yeah.
weaving. What are you doing? Do you even
But the problem
DPS,
is
bro?
that this
Like,
takes away
no,
from
listen.
everyone. Like low end users, high, high skill, low skill. This takes damage away from everyone, and I understand that because damage has gotten inflated. But is this where it needs to be removed from? I think this is just removes the skill cap
Right.
or lowers the skill cap to be something that's not really
It
like
does.
it's not something
It
you should be
does.
focusing on as much anymore, which is the same problem WoW ended up having. Where they were like, look, and we're at the Lich King, we're gonna give all the warlock abilities to everyone. That's accessibility. And like that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like I got a whole spill on that,
Right,
but
because
like
we're about to talk about
like
combat
all right.
effects, aren't we?
Every
Right.
Yeah, yes, we are. But like before, real quick, since
Hmm.
one Tamriel, since that happened, the game scales to you, right? Like there's no
The
level
game is
lock dungeons and all
essentially
that,
the same at
that
level
used to go
30
on.
as it is at level 50. I mean, like, the game feels very similar. Your
Right,
stats matter the exact same. They're even the same numbers.
right. So it's not, you don't really have like unless it's just your first character ever, and
Right.
even
I
then
mean,
it's
the
going to
whole game
scale to you,
scales from level 1.
right? Like because you can slot if you have a main that has like 1300 CP, you can slot it. You can go into the, and they have
Right.
some effect.
And if they don't have an
You can
effect,
see
they
it,
clearly mark that they don't.
So
Like, and the only one I can think about for
right.
that is
So
the bounty one. The bounty, yeah, yeah. Bounty CP
yeah,
does not
yeah,
affect your like if you're under level 50, which is like that's such a niche one. So I don't really count that as a
it is. It's a very
right. And it
specific
only removes
situation
1,000
thing.
bounty. It doesn't remove your bounty until you get to 1,000, which means that you're gonna have more than that.
Yeah,
It's real crap.
yeah. All right. Combat
Right. Like
effects. This is my real, just
like
my
I
heart
told
breaks
you what I
reading
told
this.
you. I'm gonna go back to
So
automatons on the warden. Like
I know, and
mm-hmm.
it's wrong. All right, so all right, I'm gonna read a little bit of this.
Just put it
Um,
on me. Just do it. Look,
all right, let's see here.
like I can't
Yeah,
take the suspense anymore.
yeah. All right. So the other area that they have spent a considerable amount of time on for this update is the uptime of effects in ESO, as these are another huge way to improve
All
your
right, so like
combat
hold on
capabilities.
already. Just wait one
Outside,
second. Like did who
right,
like for real, like who let
right.
Todd Howard in the building?
It's all right. Like outside of weaving, the main limiter of your effectiveness in combat is your ability to output events such as damage, healing, shielding, etc., which is bound
Right,
by activating abilities, which in turn are bound
right.
within the global cooldown system. Okay, yes. Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
saying it. It is a system.
Mm-hmm.
You're changing the system. Okay. All right. So this is going to be
Right.
bugged out for a
Firstly,
long time.
everyone
Number
on
one.
everywhere
Number
everyone when you download this patch, like just go ahead and run the repair. Like don't even launch the
You're
game.
right.
Just put it
It's
in repair mode. Sit back.
it,
Like don't even
it and even that is really not going to fix this because it's such a structural change to how the game, like how it's played. Like it's
Yeah,
going to change how you
no,
play the
this
game.
this literally changes. The
Let's see
problem
here.
with this is that they're also talking about buffs, debuffs, and like all around, just all those kind like food buffs even.
Right.
So I don't think this change, like what they're doing here, I don't think this stops here. Like I think, and this we should have seen
No, it
this when
doesn't.
Lotus got
It,
up to
and
60 seconds. We should have seen this right when Lotus got a 60-second timer.
right. It's yeah, I can agree with that. And it's funny because they
Right.
go into saying it, right? Activating ability from your action bar locks out your other abilities for 1 second. So a way to circumvent this system is to utilize actions that add power or extra events without your need to
Bleeds. They're saying
continuously
bleeds.
activate them. Often seen as buff, debuff abilities, or damage and healing over time. There's your bleeds.
And this, yeah.
Keeping as many of these abilities up as long as possible dramatically improves your combat potential, creating another area of mastery and potential of power deltas. All right,
Yes,
I disagree with
I
that
like
statement.
immediately as soon as you read it. All right, mastery and power deltas. All right, so those things are linked and they're not necessarily a bad thing.
No, because back to this is a game. If you
Like, do we
if you
need to?
care to be
We're
like, there
just
are
we're just
casual
dummy
players,
humping
right?
fucking From
And that's
Software
fine.
all the time, like, but it's true. Like, you know,
It you know it is. It's if you want to be good, spend time getting good. Like, I don't know what else to say. Look, and I'll come out and say it. Look, we don't have we're like, it's not like we have the monopoly
fuck
on
no.
ESO content. Okay, there is plenty of content out there. If you want to know something, there's a video on it. There's a post,
Like
a written guide
you
on
can
it
find
somewhere.
some of the
It's
things we
out there.
talk about, like, probably everything we've talked about. You could find on a forum somewhere by some guy screaming at like, what is wrong with this ability or this set? Like that's how I found out that the Maelstrom didn't even have
Right.
a proper bleed, like on the axe, like
Right.
right,
Yes,
which is a
I remember
problem.
that. Yes.
Like,
So, all right, let's move. All right. Currently, many of these abilities fall within a 10-second window, which is
like I
way more than
prefer
enough time.
a short,
Meaning to maximize.
like,
Yeah, well, all right. Look, some abilities in
look,
the game have some
like,
weird timings. Okay, and it's the volley thing.
like,
Okay,
yeah,
is what it is. Or like, if you want to compare it to something else, it's the lightning flood thing. Like lightning flood, liquid lightning. Okay, one's 10, one's 14. That 14's real weird.
14 adds
14's
a real like
weird.
it's
Okay.
an off just by enough. Like so you have to do it at the end of
Yeah.
your rotation. And it just offsets itself.
Right, and it's you're gonna like and I'll my original intention was to make a build video, but then this happened, and I'm like, all right, okay, so we should address this because I saw what it was, and,
And
oh
we're gonna
God.
go ahead. I'm just gonna
But-
drop it. 10-second bleeds are no longer a thing. We're gonna have them be 20 seconds now. And instead of doing
Sure.
1.5,
ticking 2,000, they're gonna tick like
so here they say,
crap,
for example, previously a damage over time effect would deal 1.5 times the damage of a quote-unquote spammable attack over its duration of 10 seconds, or 0.15 relative damage per second. Now, the damage effects will deal 2 times damage of the spammable attack over its duration of 20 seconds. Now, like everyone's going to read that and they're going to go, more damage. Yes. But at the cost of shorter debuffs. You want shorter bleeds so that you can snapshot them. And for anyone who's not familiar with that term, because now I got to explain that, because that comes from WoW, right? That comes from like WoW like years ago. But it's a snapshotting, right? So when you put your buffs on and you hit a bleed, it calculates all of the things that you have first, all your stats first, and then hits the bleed. So if you don't have brutality on, it's 20% less, and the bleed will stay that way even after you put brutality on. It might go up a little bit, but it's not going to actually get the full thing as if you had them all active when you press the bleed. So that's very
Right.
important to know,
And
and you want high initial damage.
to clarify, yes, to clarify the fact, okay, to
Mhm.
clarify the snapshotting thing,
It's
like,
based off initial damage.
I know you mentioned that it was in WoW, but it is absolutely in this game. We have tested it and seen it. It's why the Warden does
Right,
some
and
real
it's
stupid
because of these
damage.
10-second
It's
timers. Like, because every
Mm.
couple seconds I need to refresh, redo my initial damage. And guess what? Like, after you get rolling and everything's up, you're just snapshotting for free, man.
right,
Like, you're walking up, you hit a button, and then you go
right.
ding ding, and you win. Like, you done, you got it. And but that's not going to happen as much anymore because we're going to put up all our bleeds. For anyone who runs like a bleed build like mine, which is like pretty much 10 dots, right? Like I have all of my bar full of dots, and I run bear because
Mhm.
he applies hemo now. So like like 12, 13 fucking however many, because each one carries something else with it. And so I keep these dots up, right? And I have no problem keeping them up. They're 10-second durations. And in this post, they're like, people are looking at their at their hot bar, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've memorized this. Like this is boiled in my brain now because I just
Yeah,
know. I go Q,
like,
and then I go R, and then I go, and then I throw my Fetcher flies out, and then I slash, and like we do it in that order. Like we're
yeah. It's look, you put the skills on the bar, you figure out in what order you
Mhm.
need to rotate through them, and then you do it. Like it's not. I don't.
Like I
I don't even really
no.
know what to say about that. Like you put the skills on the bar.
And now
They
that
didn't
10
do it for
second
you.
durations are gone,
And then
like what are you gonna do? Well,
mhm,
what we're gonna do is we're gonna have like spin to win. That's what I'll do. I'll just add spin to win. Whirlwind or whatever. Steel
right,
tornado
right.
probably actually, and
Yeah.
just run through and just fly around because like I won't have anything to do for 10 seconds. But
Right. And that's another thing actually hadn't thought about. That's why I prefer,
mhm.
like, when we do these things, we like have the conversation together, because that's something I hadn't thought about. Like, listen, the build
Mhm.
that I put
Yeah.
out, the Heretic, the Magplar, is all back bar. The entire back bar is like damage over
Yeah.
time, area of effect things. So,
And
all
you can
right,
get long dots though. You can do
I
that.
go to the back bar, I do that.
Right.
You can, but like, all right, so this build
Hmm.
that I'm talking about, I'm gonna go to the back bar because I start on the back bar, right?
Yeah,
Lay
Buffy.
down
Yeah.
every dot, and then go to the front bar. And then what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna jab for
Right,
15
cause
seconds.
jab is the best damage. It just is. Like you're a Templar. I don't know what to tell
like,
you. That
like,
you
look,
chose this life. They gave you one ability, and it's real powerful. And like all you got to do is push it. But like, there's the thing. Like I'm
yeah,
gonna stand around for 10
like,
seconds, and like I can't even really like just light attack anymore, cause like that's dead. So like, I'm
yeah,
just
it's a
gonna get Sunder
yeah,
Flame. That's what I'm gonna
exactly.
do. I'm gonna get Sunder Flame, and maybe that'll actually work pretty well.
Yes,
I'll be a druid who shoots fire, burns all my trees down. Like it's cool. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Eldritch Blast, man. So, let's see here. Both areas required an extensive pass of existing class ability and passive power to ensure they remain balanced with one another afterward. As such, the PTS patch notes will have a sizable amount of number tweaking.
So
This is
like we're
getting
gonna
real
get it.
good.
We're gonna
We
get it, and then
recognize,
it's gonna come to the game,
yeah,
and then we're gonna test it,
we,
and then once it's, we're gonna have a couple
yeah,
patches. Like, look, maybe by update 35, like the system will work, and then update 39, they'll like change it again.
Yeah, like, all right, look, we recognize,
Mm-hmm.
so they recognize this, okay? Because these are the first two words. We recognize this will create a lot of changes in how you optimize your builds and how you play them. But it is our hope by the end of the transition to these standards, the game will be more enjoyable and god dang it, here it is,
All right,
accessible to everyone.
So like,
they said
so
it
all
twice.
those XWow devs found a new job, I think.
That's
Like,
you know what?
Look, we don't got to worry about them now.
All right,
look,
it's
they
down
made
here.
it. They made it out.
And it's also right here, making the game far more
Like,
accessible.
I love.
All right, that one statement scares me.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
it makes me worried because look,
And, like,
I enjoy this game right now because it is a game that is like structured around old school like concepts where like you have mechanics that you just
like
can't
these
get
are
around.
these are things
Like,
that have been a staple of the RPG genre before like we were even thinking about going online with it. Like they're numbers. And they're better because it's a
absolutely.
modern day. Like we have good systems now. We don't have to like represent an enemy with like 4 pixels, so we're good.
Right, and that's actually that's something that I was going to mention. Look, I've been playing games since like 2D side scrolling. That's so if that gives you any reference point, these are the best systems that they've put
These are
into
my
these
2
types
favorite
of games.
things in the game,
Because
which is dots and like building light attack. Like I really, you remember that Nightblade I had that was a heavy attack Nightblade. Like that thing, I would go invisible, I would heavy attack you from behind, and I just you'd die, like you'd get shredded. But like the problem, all right, okay, is like that's no longer going to be a thing. Like you better run Balthazar's band if you want to increase your weapon damage now.
Yeah, it's I think what is being missed here, because like let's boil. I'm gonna boil this down real quick to what the 2 staples of RPGs are, like 2 notable, like embedded into the sub genre of gaming is puzzles and strategizing. Okay. Both of these changes affect those things and their presence and how they exist
like now,
in this game.
Now you no longer have to focus down and try to learn the systems as much, because even if you don't, like weaving doesn't matter as much anymore. It matters so little that you don't have to learn it, or you don't like you didn't really even have to learn it, but because it was good damage, like we all suffer for it because people didn't want to learn it. And I understand it. Like I understand people being like, I don't like the system. You don't have to engage with it, but like I would prefer that ZOS just like keeps it as it was. I the system was fun sometimes. Like it was. Like I didn't.
I don't know if I skipped this. Look, I got to read this real quick because I'm assuming that I skipped this the first time, or I just don't remember it because I was like, my brain went into a little bit of like rage mode. After these adjustments are live, we are going to focus on any resulting balance issues for the next few updates. Next few updates. Hopefully, reducing the chaotic nature of change for a brief period after the initial turbulence. Okay, chaotic nature and initial turbulence.
Like they know what's coming because they did this with PvP. They fucked up. They made a PvP change, and no one liked it except people who just like to like slam. And so like, if for anyone who watches this in the future, like they thought about it, right? They were like, we're gonna make PvP only deathmatch, and we were like, hey, what about like real quick? What about all of the other game modes you have, like Capture the Relic? Because like I need those achievements still.
Yeah. Look, King of the Hill's a thing, and I say King of the Hill like domination, Crazy King,
like,
stuff like that. Like
Crazy
that's
Kings.
a thing, and those are like PvP staples.
And they had to go back.
Yeah. chaos,
right? And
chaos
like
ball,
chaotic
man.
changes and turbulence, like they know about it. They know what they're doing because
Yeah,
like
they know this is happening. They have like a month and a half to get this lined out in a way in which
right,
it's
like
playable
it's
because
not gonna work.
the 11th. No, the 11th of this month is when it goes to PTS. The 22nd of next month. So a month
Like
and
they let
11
Todd
days.
in. They let
Okay,
Todd
is
in.
how long?
That's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right. So like I'm gonna scroll down here real quick into the comments because like I really agree with this first one. May we finally see Arctic Blast
Oh
become a good
no.
damage skill. I just had to say that.
No, it's
It's
not.
not gonna happen. But, I mean, look, they're extending, combat effects,
That
so
won't
maybe.
change it. It just won't.
Um
Like, no, because, like,
this
look, your ice staff dreams, they're gonna have to stay dreams for a while. Like, I think that it's possible. Like, only
yeah.
on a warden though, and like even still, like you're just building a tank that like doesn't have time.
So comment number 2, or I get yeah, the second comment. This will obviously be very controversial. It
Yeah,
didn't even need to be
right.
said.
And I think that like I
The
can
second,
see like in a way where they like maybe they thought this was a good idea. Like maybe. Like I'm not gonna say
like,
no.
I
Like I'm
don't
not
know
gonna
who
say I
did.
agree with it, but I can see where like so like they had their team in right the whole board meeting and like Todd Howard was there. Right, and
Yeah,
Todd
all
Howard was
7
like,
guys.
"Look, so we hired some WoW devs, and they were talking about accessibility, and like we should really focus on the
Yeah,
Skyrimized version. Like, remember, guys, keep it simple, stupid. That's the slogan for Fallout games. So like, let's keep it simple, stupid. And we're gonna how we're gonna
yeah.
fix this problem because they're looking at the game right, and they're like, all right, we have a problem. They determined they had a problem. Like it's not really a problem, but they determined they had a problem, and they were like, all
It's
right,
not.
damage is high. What do we got to do?
The the commenter here that says obviously controversial says, but it is probably what is best for the game as a whole. Completely
I
disagree with
don't
that.
see.
And then they changing an entire
Well,
system,
like
like
my
why?
main concern is
Why?
really like because when you extend all combat effects, all debuffs, all bleeds, all that, right? When all of them are the exact same length,
Yeah.
what is the point of playing X class that has like Lotus? Like why would you do it? What's the point? If everyone has
Right.
Lotus, why would you do Lotus? So like that's the problem is that
Right.
every bleed is gonna end up being the same bleed. I don't want that. And like they're already homogenized, right? Like a little bit. Because you play them and you're like, this bleeds the exact same thing
Yeah.
as this one, but like who cares, right? But they maybe have a different function or one of them's ranged, like whatever reason you pick it. But you picked it because you wanted a shorter duration debuff, or you wanted a shorter duration on the bleed, or you wanted a longer duration on a buff. You picked certain ones to complement your playstyle because they're not all equal. They're not. Like you can
Exactly.
have a build that is
Right.
almost the same as mine on the same class. I guarantee you we will pick different debuffs and buffs. And
Right. And look, they got up on the pedestal, and I've done it too.
mhm,
Like in the beginner series that I've been doing and putting out, I've got up on the same pedestal. Play your way. That's the
right.
slogan of this game. That is, they're like gold standard for this game.
Unless it's attack weaving.
This, yeah, like unless it's what we
I
say
think
you
they need to
can't do
keep
your
these
way.
short debuff or these short
And
bleeds. I think they need to have a few of them. I'm not saying like look, if they want to change slashes to be 20 seconds, okay. But like, if they want to change all the bleeds to be 20 seconds, like, okay, but like, why? Because like, then I'm just gonna sit
Right.
around all day. Like, I'm gonna do my thing, and then I'm just gonna stand around hitting my light attacks, which are fucking flat damage now. Like, this isn't gonna be a
Right.
10% decrease like they're saying it, a 6 to 11%. It's not gonna be that. Like, it's gonna be an
No.
overall
No, it's
buff
not.
if you are really willing to just strap in and damage super slow. And like,
Yeah, exactly. So
we're
without like comment crawling, I got two more that I want to say. I got two
DPS
more things I
very,
want to
very
say because they're like
slowly.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this this same comment goes on to say, remember, power creep always wins. Every patch, the maximum possible DPS increases. Now I'm gonna look. Every patch we get like pretty much every
Can
patch we have gotten
can
new
I
sets.
disagree? Because like
Okay,
some zones have
we
some
got
real
Orders
shit.
Wrath.
Like we've gotten some real shit sets from some zones.
Yeah, all right,
All right.
right,
All
okay,
right.
but like Orders
Mhm.
Wrath came out with this most
Expansion.
recent,
Right.
the new chapter, right?
Which
So Orders Wrath may be the best DPS set that is like hit ESO in probably forever because it's a crit damage buff that's not a buff. It's not major or minor force. It stacks with those things. It's all crit. It allows you to reach things that you could not just reach without
right.
going real
And
hard
like
before.
that's also the same with a
So
lot of gear in this expansion, which makes me like I'm like, all right, look, I'm gonna say that maybe there's not a whole lot going on in this expansion that much. And
well, all right, look, we got two dungeons, right? So that's 8 gear sets because you got a light,
right,
medium,
but
heavy, and a
like
monster.
they didn't do a lot
So
with the cards. They didn't. I don't.
yeah,
I haven't
I haven't
either
really dug into
much.
that. This one makes me real happy. This comment
Yeah.
right here makes me happy because I agree
Hmm.
110%. It says say psych right
Right.
now.
I kind of
All right.
agree.
Now,
Like, hold on.
yeah. No, I
Listen,
full on
guys.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, say you're kidding.
They ain't kidding.
This is April 1st, April Fool's Day,
They let
okay?
Todd
Like, we were
Howard in the
just kidding.
building. You need to understand that.
Please.
Like, I don't know what else to tell you, but like Todd Howard,
Like,
look, he got fired. Okay. Like Microsoft bought him up and they were like, look, Todd, we can't like fire you because you have tenure, but like we can't have you hanging around in Bethesda's office. So like just go bother the ZeniMax guys. And that's what happened. Like they were like, look, you like we don't know what you're doing with Starfield. Like just go do something else for a while. And he focused down. He came up with this one. This is a good patch for Todd.
the the very first paragraph of this post is like really eating at me, and it's like maybe the last like half of a sentence and then the last sentence.
Right.
Continuation of the attempt to quell some of the obscene damage production at the high end. Okay, like at the high end, you need some obscene damage production. Like you don't want to be in a trial, that hard mode
And
trial, and not be doing some
like you
obscene
don't
damage because like
no one
this
wants to
is
deal with
yes,
20k Andy
this
right
is
now.
a damage is
Right.
no, like this is a game where you can if you understand the mechanics, yes, you can do whatever
Yeah.
content you want. Damage is not king necessarily. It is just real convenient sometimes. Like our no death run that we're after in March,
Like we're gonna
like
get it.
the freaking sprigging tree thing
It's
or whatever.
100k.
Yeah,
You
we
gotta
are
do
gonna get it. But
100k
like
to kill it before its first phase. So like you can do that if you
yes,
bring 2 DPS who have the damage, like it's about 100k damage, and you can kill it before any of
Right.
its mechanics go off. So like you can do the
Right.
if you can do the mechanic,
And it's
like you could just do the mechanic. You don't have to do that. You don't have to rush it down.
right. But it's real
Yeah.
convenient if you just get rid
Like
of it. You know?
I don't really want to do the mechanic for that fight.
No, because it's
No,
not.
like
It doesn't translate
it
well to the
requires a
player.
team effort, and
You
like
know.
I can't trust you guys sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you just
No. Look, what it is we're trying to pug a no death, and
we're
that's
trying to pug
real
one
tough.
guy though. Like that's
And
like
like,
well, two people tip like because our healer
yeah,
buddy, like I'm calling him out right now. Like he's there sometimes for the runs and sometimes he's not.
yeah,
And so like really the problem is
yeah.
I'm healing when I should be damaging and like he needs to get online. All right. Cause like I
Yeah.
really don't think we can trust one other guy.
Oh, so like the last sentence of this very first paragraph. Let's start by breaking apart.
Mhm.
Breaking. Okay, they chose that word. Breaking apart some of the fundamental realities
Oh,
of
like
ESO
I
today.
don't like
All
the
right.
way it's phrased.
Like, I don't either, because it's not fundamental realities. It's the
Right.
fundamentals of the game, like the way it exists. So, and then they go on and they're like, all right, we're gonna work it
Right.
out over the next
The
few
the
patches.
line that gets me is
Okay.
between
All right.
this and the engagement of weaving, and this is about the dots. This creates a reality where high actions per minute,
Yeah.
APM, is required to be effective, as well as
Yeah.
robust rotation to keep many of these effects up as possible. And like what I think I just heard
Yeah.
them describe is playing the thing you built, playing the class you built. I think they just described that to me. And right,
That's
because like, all
exactly what
right,
it was.
so
Yeah.
like, if you want to do high damage, like you're gonna have to do high actions per minute. Like not like, like I'm just saying, like
Oh my
maybe,
goodness. They've said it 3 times. I see
like I've seen
accessibility again.
accessibility in like when I close my eyes, man. Like it's burned in because like I saw it with World of Warcraft, and now I'm seeing it again. I'm getting some Vietnam flashbacks, so like we're gonna get through it. Like. And this turn
Like,
reinforces the
I
need to
think,
glue your eye. Like who's gluing their eyes on the action bar? Maybe like maybe there are people
you know
like I
what
don't
this
mean to
is?
be like disrespectful if you're a new player. If you're a new player, like you have a reason to like kind of suck at first because we all suck at first. Every one of us. Like when I joined ESO, when I first
Right.
started, like I was
Yeah.
trash. So like I'm okay with it now. Like but if you're playing,
What, like, even once we got into CP levels, like, we got
yeah,
told we were trash
like
in vet
and it's
dungeons. Like,
okay because
it
you
happens,
stop being
you know?
trash by just like playing a lot or like just playing over a long period, even if you don't have a lot of time. Like you work full time and like you're
Right.
able to do damage. Like you can do light attack weaving.
Yeah.
I get it,
Yeah.
right? I get it. Where like some people just like they just don't want to be hardcore. But like I don't play games for fun. Like I play games to win because I get fun from winning. So like and like that's I get
Right.
it.
So, no, it's, I don't, this is
it.
highly
And maybe we
disappointing. It
are
just
like
is.
I'll say this. We probably are disconnected a little bit from some like of the I guess lower end players who and that's not to me like mean about it. Like just the people who don't want to go do like vet hard mode.
Right.
Like I want to go stand in vet hard mode, but like you don't have to want to do that. That's fine.
Right.
But like this is where we need
No.
this. We need high APM. We need
Right.
that. Like actions per minute is important in that content. You know what else is important? Light attack weaving. You know what else is important? Like fast dots. And like that's where we need it. or where we've gotten used to using it, where we want it to be. Like, if you want long dots and you want
Yeah.
to not be running through content like that, just go, like, do a normal. Like, do a normal mode, or don't do hard mode, or, like, whatever is your level. Like, have
This
fun the way you want to have fun, but, like, don't make, they don't need to make the game.
this very much. No, no, they don't. This very much reminds me of the nerf to carve, and like, so I'm sure there's some number of people out there that are like, yes, I can put a 30-second
Carve
dot
now
on
is
something
nowhere
just
near
by
what it
hit.
used to be.
No, because it used to be 3 stacks of 10-second dots instead of one
And it
30-second dot.
like, they would stack on top each other, and they do damage.
Right.
Like, the first one sucked, right? Because it did like 0. Like, you do carve and
Yeah.
nothing would get hurt, and by the
Right.
second one, things start like chunking. And then when you got the third one on, it's like boom, boom, dead.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah. Things are starting to melt at that point, which is, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm going to go back to it again. There's not enough information here.
Right.
I'm going to try and be as objective as possible. There's not enough
No.
information here. There is some information, like in combat effects. There's some information, but we don't even really know if that's like the case. If like 20-second dots are like what they're
Like,
talking about, right? But what they're
right,
actually
because
talking about.
they gave
could just be an
nothing
example.
concrete, and all like, this is why they're worried about
No.
turbulence, though. Like, this is why, because they came
Yes.
in, all right. Like, this is what they did. They came in, they saw all of us. They were like, "Hey guys, look. So we got this new thing for you, and what it is a bunch of suck." And then they walked out. They didn't explain any of it, and like, we're like, okay, all
Right.
right.
Oh my god! You know what?
Huh.
You know what they did? This just crossed my mind. Okay, so they messed with combat and gave us 2 new dungeons that have vet and hard mode with reduced damage output.
Yeah. Right.
What they're doing is they're saying, go get Oaken Soul, make a 1-bar build, and
I think what
forget
they're
about
also
dots.
saying is, like, and I like, normally, I don't know what these dungeons are gonna be like, right? I don't know how hard they're gonna be.
Right.
Right.
They're DLC dungeons.
I'm sure they're
They're
not gonna
DLC
be
dungeons.
easy,
We
right?
know what that means.
But like, what the problem is like, how are they trying to do this so that they don't have to keep making dungeons like continually harder? Is that what they're trying to do? Because if they lower the overall damage and they make us
I
all
don't-
do about the same level, like, then they can be like, all right, now we know what we can build around, like, for literally everyone. But the problem is, like, we don't pull 20K like Andy. Like, we're good, we're ready.
No.
Can like, we get off the leash a little bit here? Like, let's go hammer in some heads, right? Because I want to feel like a badass with the build I made.
That's actually my biggest problem with this is, okay, so when, like, if you're doing something that's challenging and you get good at it, there should be a reward. And what this has done is boxed everybody in to the same.
Like, they have these kind of boxes around for like crit damage and crit percentage. Like, there's diminishing returns and there's caps and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, that makes sense. But why are they being
those changes?
But why are they
make
being
sense.
extended to like the way dots function and the way your like weapons are damaging? It's too It's too generic to cover it all, and it's too easily abusable by just adding in more number. So they create another stat to fuck with.
Yeah, I wish in reading this the first time I read it and then going through this again, I really wish there was more information
they
here.
need to come out with what's going on really. Like as soon as this goes on PTR, like I have it downloaded. I'm gonna try all this out because there's no way that like this can't go live like this. And like I feel like we say that every time.
Not
We
the
do
way
this
that it
every time
sounds.
there's a patch note.
Well, and look,
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff we've said that about, we've been right about.
This-
Like the
yes.
Oaken Soul
And
ring.
we were sitting
You
there
remember all
talking
that
about that.
crazy stuff?
And it
Yeah,
was
so
because
it's
it
not
used to
that.
not be buff based. It was just flat stat.
Oh, yeah, you could. You could
Right.
stack it with the buffs. You could get all the stupid stuff that come along with it, like the just straight up
And that's how
brokenness of the mythic item.
advertised it to
And
us.
then
That's how they
also stack
sent it to us. They were like, look, here is the idea we have for Oaken Soul.
Mhm.
It is brutality and courage and berserk and all the damage things you could ever want, but like they're not those buffs. So you can add those on top, but they're the exact same
Right.
equivalent as the buff. Like it was brutality masked as numbers. And so you could add brutality.
And then
Yeah.
you could stack brutality
And they were like,
on it.
this is fine.
Yeah.
This is fine. And like they really thought about it. And then people were like, hey, so like, do you think that's balanced? And they were like, oh, you're right. We should probably make these the major buffs so that like people don't go wild. That makes sense. But this is the exact
does.
opposite problem.
And then
so now we
right, they did that, and then went in the like they just did a
Right.
180. And
They were like,
walked away
oh,
from
you
it.
guys feel like there's too
Like-
much damage in the game then. All right, so we're gonna like just cut it. Like we're gonna
Yeah.
not cut weaving because
Yeah.
they're talking about it first, right? And they're like, look, like you need to learn to manipulate something known as weaving, which refers as the act of squeezing multiple actions into the global cooldown window. Doing so drastically increases your agency and output, and it is a staple of the game that we've come to embrace. This was a player-driven function that we found and used, and they accept it, but they don't
Yes.
like how much it does. And I get that, but this isn't where the damage should be coming out of. Like, if we're worried about damage, maybe look at some of those passives that we have on our classes, really. Like, I hate to say that, but like that's what it is.
So the sentence
Mhm.
that you just read is followed up by, however, the impact of weaving leads to a massive gap in performance where players who cannot interact with it as effectively are left miles behind
Right.
those who can.
While this is a part,
Yeah, because it's a skill
right?
that you
Like
have to
while this is a
practice.
partially
That's why people dummy
unavoidable
hump.
an important part of what makes mastery of ESO or any activity utilizing a similar system particularly satisfying, we want to do what we can to shorten that delta. Like, well, here's
Yeah,
why.
like, why?
The closer the gap between low and high end, the easier it is to create content that can accommodate a wider audience. Not engage a wider audience. Like, that's very different. Because like this is the same shit that we saw. Like this is why LFR existed in WoW. For people who don't know, like it's looking for raid, and you just queue in to a raid with a bunch of random people, like a dungeon, right? And it's nerfed down to the ground, right? So that's what it's for. They were like, all right, like people want to see the story and they want to get gear because they want to feel like they were there in the raid. Like, but let me tell you something. Like, if you do Mythic version, the hard mode shit, like it's different. It's just different, and like that's why we're upset about it. We're not upset about it. Like, we don't want people at the low end being left behind. We think that this is just not the system to fuck with to get that result.
No, it's not. It's because it punishes
for
it's a punishment, is what it is. It's a punishment to the higher
and
end
to the
skilled
low skill
players, is
too,
what it is.
because now
There
they're
are
not even
people
gonna
like
be getting anything for learning it.
right. There's essentially like the way this reads. There's no reason
Yeah.
to learn.
Well, they're not killing it;
but
they're just making it useless.
like the high end, high skill, right? The high end, high skill players, like these people, like they spend a lot of time
Yeah,
dummy
because they have
humping.
to
Like
practice this shit. They have to practice this. They need to know it because when they go,
yeah,
excuse me, when they go into the fight,
yeah, they need
Right.
to make it muscle
and like
memory.
this is why also 20-second dots suck, because like I hate to be that guy. Okay, like I'm gonna be that guy. It's like, look, 20 seconds is long enough for me to put all my dots on, run away, go do a mechanic, come back, and they're still active. And like there should be a loss of
Yeah,
damage to doing the mechanic, I think, most of the time. And like that's because if there isn't, like you get a situation where the thing just dies before the mechanic happen. Like you don't get to fight the boss. So
this could result in all that real unpleasant
this could,
mechanic overlap.
right, because the game's not like fully stable. Is that what you're getting at? Yeah, because
No,
it
like
happens.
so they set up. I don't. Whoever thought about this didn't think about what all it affects.
Right, like Arc's
Is what I think. And again, there's not enough information, but yeah, arcs
Right.
exactly the invisible line.
Like
But
I think it might be fixed, by the way. I did some today,
so
and like I didn't have the problem, but I had it in a different place that like I haven't before.
that's
Yeah, I don't know
interesting.
what happened there.
But like, all right. So all right. I guess to explain real quick what I'm referencing is
Mechanical overlap.
most bosses. Yeah, mechanical overlap. So mechanical overlap is a real bad thing if you're in the harder content, right? Because like normal stuff,
you can
if
stand
you have
and fire in normal.
it's just not going to kill you.
You're good.
Yeah, it's not going to kill you. Not if you're remotely good at the game or you're average at the game. You're
Like you just
you're
hit
not going to die
dabs,
normal.
I don't know what to tell you.
So, all right.
Right.
So mechanical overlap, bosses, and everything basically. At the end, every enemy in the game has like a rotation that they go through, right? And bosses have rotations that they go through.
Yeah.
Yes, percentage based, exactly. So, all right, we hit mechanic stage 1 at 80%. We hit mechanic stage 2, arbitrary numbers. We hit mechanic stage 2 at 60%.
Right.
All right, because the dots are longer, the combat effects, you could accidentally push 80% into 60%.
You know what I realized?
Wipe. Because there are mechanics that will wipe you if you don't do them. If you have to do them twice on top of one another,
this screws
you're
over
probably going to wipe.
Man. I just realized how it did. Because Nightblades.
Yes, it does.
All right. Look, for all the Nightblade boys out there who are like me, and like to fight the Shadow War, that's going on all the time. Right, because we all just like really what's going on. We all know what happens. We pick Nightblade to fight the other Nightblade on the other team, because like we want to be the first to backstab, and like it just so happens like we cross paths a little bit, and like I see you, and I'm an orc, so like I slam you. But like no, this is gonna suck because look, bleeds like they screw up your stealth. So like 20 seconds, all right, that's a real long time you're asking me to not go stealth. Like I got invisibility, but like I'm not mana based, so we're gonna have a problem. So like I can't invis for 20 seconds. I can't do that.
This messes. These changes mess with classes. They mess with
and that's why they need to.
gear. They
Yeah.
mess with
Well, they have
your
to change
ability to
sets
like.
now. They have to. They
It's
even
so
bring this up.
much.
They say that they're gonna have to here. Like, we hope to reduce stress of combat rotation. Oh, never mind. That's not where it's at. Right. I can't find it right now. But nonetheless, they're saying that this is going to be changing on gear. This is going to be changing on your stat sheet. Like, your damage is going to be flat now or whatever. And now, like, all we know is that, like, we just have to keep our eye out on the discussion that come out of this, as well as the initial feedback over the upcoming PTS cycle. Since the scale of these changes is large in nature, please understand that it may take more time for adjustments.
Yep.
That's all you need to know. Cause like Zoss ain't gonna tell us nothing. Like they don't tell us a lot. They don't, right?
They really, really, really didn't tell us anything here. It's like they gave the player base just
Yeah.
enough to get riled up, and not a whole lot
No, they
beyond that,
came
really.
out. They said, "Here's some suck," and then walked out the door. And like we're all left here looking at it like, all right, so what's the point of light attack weaving now? Like really, truly, like are you gonna continue to do it? Like if you're losing half of its value, is it still worth it?
Like, I mean, look,
Like
it's damage. I'm
right.
gonna do it if it's
But
a place that I
feel
do
like
it. But
will
like,
be better to just here it is right here with the adjustment. It'll be better just to flame staff between bar rotations. That's what I think is gonna happen. But with this adjustment, we'll also be making
yeah,
a significant number of changes to item sets, passives, and buffs to ensure classes remain balanced in the damage production while also trying to do a better job allowing builds to amplify these actions. We've heard your cries, Dragonborn. Sorry, heavy attack build lovers. And we want better for
yeah.
you without introducing unhealthy gameplay between PvP and PvE. But like you did that though. Like cuz these changes don't work for both.
Okay,
They don't work for one.
okay. So, all right, no, but all right. I personally want to address one more thing, and I think I don't know what else to say, but like, all right, without introducing unhealthy gameplay. Okay, all right. Listen, unhealthy gameplay is toxicity in the game. Okay,
Yeah.
that's unhealthy gameplay. That's the guy in the dungeon that's like, oh, I'm the tank and I fucking died
Yeah.
because the healer didn't heal me. No, you died
Like
because you didn't
every
block
game's gonna
properly,
have those guys.
or you ran out
We
of
just we have
resources.
to deal with them. We know it. They're coming. They're always gonna be here.
Yes. Yes. Here's the thing. This is not how you remove that from the game. The way you remove that from the game is you just police real hard, right? Like you become martial law and say, "All right, look, if you said fuck you, healer boy,
Like,
you're
and
done."
I hate to admit it, but this right here, like this doesn't reduce that. What it does is it breeds it. Cause this happened with WoW, right?
Yeah,
Cause
it amplifies.
then all the people who were playing in the old day, like all you'd hear when you played WoW, you'd be in the raid group and like 4 of your group members were there from Classic and they're like, this game sucks now. Like there's not even any stats and shit. Like you just build mastery and you don't even have to do this mechanic anymore. And you have this spell that like I don't even know why you got that spell. It's a warlock spell. And like that's all you'd hear because like they didn't get the changes they wanted. So then like they just got pushed out. They got pushed out of the game by the game for becoming too accessible because they enjoyed certain features. They enjoyed certain odd mechanics of WoW. Like if you go back and you can play WoW Classic and it's a different experience. It's just a different game. And the people who bought in
Right.
early, like they don't have that game anymore. right? Because like it's WoW 3.0 now,
No.
right? So it's different.
Right. And so to follow that up, I will say I understand that in the many years that this game has been out, it has seen a lot of changes. Like we're in Champion Point System 2.0, and we've got one Tamriel now, where like everything just scales. You're not level locked out of
Right.
certain content.
There's been a lot of
and things like
helpful
that.
accessibility.
Right. That's like excessive. I feel like accessibility, when they say that here, means the wrong thing.
Yeah.
They're using it and talking
They
about
mean
the wrong thing.
inclusivity.
When they say unhealthy gameplay, right. When they say unhealthy gameplay, they're talking about the wrong thing. Being good at a game is not unhealthy. Like improving your skill is not unhealthy. It can make you toxic. Like if everybody else isn't good and you don't have a balanced level head on you.
And like
you know,
if you
look, I'll be honest, like I got a little bit of neck beard too.
And like if you
Listen,
like to be that way, if you enjoy that kind of like being toxic, like just join a toxic guild. Like that's the truth about it. Like if you like to be an asshole, like don't try to lie to yourself. Just go join an asshole guild. Like and you'll be happier and everyone else will be happier. Because like we all just like to play at a different level in ESO. It's just the problem when like I don't think I don't even think this was something that like players at the low end asked for. Cuz I've never heard these things be asked for.
No, I haven't either.
It just seems like they're trying to protect.
Where is it?
Or like not protect, but like I guess try to boost up by taking away.
It seems to me as though they want to be the next top RPG or MMO.
Not gonna happen.
Which is it's good. It's not gonna happen because ESO and the Elder Scrolls in general is a very
it's going
specific
up against
audience.
Final Fantasy. Like I hate to admit it, I'm not even a Final Fantasy guy that much. Like you are, but like I know, like you can't go up against Final Fantasy. Like Elder Scrolls is they stick to themselves.
It's and it's all right. Like I don't even know. Like it's this particular update blows my mind.
Yeah, like, I don't see this coming to live like this. I hope it doesn't come to live like this. I think it's going to. I think
can't imagine.
Like only because I cannot. They're so like they know what they're doing.
Not in this.
They know what they're doing though. Like they know enough of what they're doing to say numbers, to talk about it in like long form. Like they're clearly aware of the change they're making. I don't think they're gonna reverse course.
Yeah, well, I mean, they come out and say right here, while testing adjustments internally.
They're dedicated.
Okay, all right.
I think
that's a little bit of an indication to me that they looked at it themselves and they were like, you know what? All right, maybe.
And I don't think they should though. I don't see the point. And maybe that's me. And maybe I'm disconnected because I like to play a bit more. Like I like to play when I play games. I go all in. And I understand a lot of people don't do that. They like to sit back, you know, and like play from afar. They take it more casually. Games are more of a relaxing thing for them. I understand that, right? But for me, when I'm playing, like I'm much more intense than that. Like I'm actually focused. I like to be in control of my character. And what this does is it draws a line around my character now. Whereas there wasn't one.
Yes, you are now in the box.
Right, but because before though, the thing is, before this, there was no, like, it says 15 to 20%, but that's just like on average. Like, some people could have built into this, people could have done things with it. Now there is a cap. Now there is a functional
Yeah,
system. I say functional, like, I mean that it works technically, like, and it overrides the previous system, and now it's flat damage. So, like, we can't look at it the same way. We have to really shift where we put things now. We have to build into it.
yes. And to the average, to your statement about the average build sees, you know, that 15 to 20%, that's a top 3. Like, if you were to look at a combat metric report, that's a top 3 damage
Right.
source. Okay, some builds it's a top 1 or 2, like, because it's not 15 or 20%, it's they're spot on
Yeah.
because they've practiced
Well, like, mine is
a lot.
mine's
they're
real
spot
fucking
on.
weird backwards. Like, I'm a bleed build, but it's necrotic orb and then a light attack. But, like, it doesn't
Right.
matter that I'm a stamina class. Like, necrotic orbs
Yeah.
damage over time, and when you wear deadly and bloodthirsty together, like, things just happen. So
Right.
I don't have a reason
Yeah.
to explain. I don't have to explain anything. I'm Chim, and like, right, like,
Sorry,
don't get me
Vivek.
on about the trunk now. So the difference here, though, it's a minor change seemingly at first glance, until you understand that flat, like, when they're changing it to be flat, if that means what it means when they normally say that. Because remember, like, we didn't get words they normally used. Like, that's right. So, like, this right here, when they
Right.
say deal flat amount, that is a term we know they use. And when they say that, that means something.
Right.
But, like, in what way are they
Yes.
referencing to it now? Because afterwards they say regardless of stats. Okay, but, like,
Right.
your staff goes into your damage.
So what? How are you gonna calculate what the
Your axe
flat
goes into your
is
stats.
if you're not considering
It doesn't.
stat?
So which stat? Can we just get a definitive which stat it's going
Right.
off of? Because it.
Right. Where and it's not going to be found out until, you know, people really
And
start
if
digging
it
deep
is tied
in
to, man, if it's
yes.
tied to the weapon, like what it says on the weapon that you're wielding, it's over for light attacks. It's over for like, you won't even do them anymore. You'll do them to get like mana back or stamina back, and that's it. Because if it is tied to your staff's damage, and it's not even getting weapon damage bonus, it's not getting crit, if it's not getting any of that shit, it's over. But, like, I think it's gonna crit still. Like, and that's just because flat stats can crit. But I don't know what they mean when they say words.
Like, regardless of which stats, your damage stat, your crit chance, your
Right.
what, right? I don't know. I don't know. I know we've been going on for about an hour.
Pretty much covered
maybe
everything we're gonna
over.
get to on this topic until the PTR gets like live. But
yeah, because there's just not enough. There's not enough information in this.
That might just be our disbelief as well. Like, we might be reading this and going, okay, but, like, can you explain more? Because I don't want to believe what they're saying. So maybe there's a little bit of disillusionment.
Right.
But I truly don't fully feel like they're saying. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be like it's not even on the same kind of page as they normally do it. It looks different. Like, this was a different type of thing where it was like a preview, and that makes me worried, because if they're trying to do like preview stuff, that makes me think of how Blizzard handled a lot of things too, where they were like a presentation or whatever. Like, Zos, you're really good at being the second best MMO, like on player numbers. Like you're really good at it. Stop trying. Like if you just
Right.
keep doing that, you might take Final Fantasy over. Like just open up more. That's it. Like really opening up, letting people fuck with the numbers more, I think would be the way. Like, and that would be the way to actually bring back sandbox MMOs into the mainstream, because that is what this game
Right.
is. And a lot of
Right.
people don't want to play it. They don't want to play
Oh, yeah.
sandboxes anymore. That's just a general like over across, time. Like people have gone away from them. They want open worlds now. And like this is
Right.
the last one. This is the last MMO standing that is a sandbox MMO. And now they're starting to kind of treat some of their combat systems like what I would expect from more of a theme park MMO like WoW or Final Fantasy, and that's just concerning to me. I don't think this
Yeah.
is gonna be something that like kills the game. It's just like I don't like this. I would prefer they just I don't know. I prefer they just look somewhere else for the damage to fall off. Cause like there's
Yeah.
plenty of other places we can look. Like we could even look at racials, right? And like when I'm not talking about
Right.
rebalancing them
Right.
all. Like I'm just talking like you can lower the percentages a little bit. You can tweak minor numbers here and there. And when they do that, like every time they make little minor changes, the game turns out
Right.
way better. It's always when they make broad sweeping changes that problems come in.
Yes. Yep.
Like
I
yeah,
fully
man.
agree with that.
And I'm still looking forward to the patch though. Like really. I'm gonna enjoy the new dungeon. Or the both of them.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not happy about it, but I am looking forward to it because I want to see what, like I said, I like this game. I want, I want to
like
see
this
what
is,
happens.
I don't see myself jumping ship to another MMO like for a while. I've settled
No.
in, like I got away from WoW, and like I found a new home, and like now they're starting to do some Blizzard design, and it's scary. Like I'm starting to think they may have been influenced by the Path of the Dark Side. Like Bobby Kotick, man, he's making money. Like fucking Bobby. It's Bobby's world, as fucking Asmund says, like it's Bobby's world. Like exactly.
Damn it, Bobby.
And this just like accessibility. I think we're gonna hear that more often. I think we're gonna start hearing that.
The real scary term.
Like, cause
Just
that's
real
like
scary.
when the game, cause this is when they start making games for people who don't like video games. Like this is what happens. They're like, look, like some guy in Wyoming, he's like real mad, right? Cause he's like, I don't have time to play the games as much. And you're like, all right, like I get it, Bill. But like that's not our fault. And like
Right.
I don't know. And like I should just get the gear. And you're like, no, Bill, you have to do the content. And they're like, I just like let me cue into it. Let me just stay back. Like, why is my damage not good? Like, I just want the gear. Why is my damage not good? You're like, all right.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. I know we could ramble on and ramble on over literally over two
but
changes.
These are sweeping.
Literally.
Like they affect my main build like more than anything else, which bothers me.
Yeah,
like
I
I'm starting to think
that.
about like I might end up going back to like the first incarnation of the Warden, and that's scary. I don't want to do that. I'll have to look up the video.
Yeah.
Like I don't even remember what I had. By the way, that's a sponsor for myself. Go check out the first Warden video. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, like I'm gonna tell you guys now. Just like go ahead and like forget about the whole Briarheart shit. Like that's over. Like run deadly on it. you just win more with Deadly. You just win more. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, cause like I said, I don't play to have fun. I play to win, and like I have fun when I win. I have a lot of fun when I win. Cause like I took that boss down. Like I'm
uh,
smiling, but like when I lose, like I ain't having fun right now. I was like,
yeah.
I want to go home.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's all right. It's all right.
All right. I
All
think
right,
that's the end of
everybody.
the
Well,
video. I think we've covered these two changes as much as like two people can in an like we decided to go an hour. And if you're still here listening, like the 3 or 4 of you, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you like what we're putting out, as well as leave us a comment down below if you're interested in carrying on this conversation. Zoss likes to make changes if the community is, vocal enough about it. So if you don't like the changes going on here, be vocal about it and tell them. They've changed like a lot of things because YouTubers and content creators and just the people who play the game post things about it in the forums on YouTube, and that's how we get the changes we want to see in the game.
yeah. One last thing before we go. We do now have a couple of different ways to support the channel, and there will be more coming in the future. But the first one is we have Spy Pie Gaming t-shirts, and I will make sure to link that up in the top corner of the video and also put it in the description.
I know this is gonna sound like I'm sponsoring myself, but like I genuinely like the t-shirts a lot.
Oh yeah, they're real
Like,
nice quality
they're
t-shirts.
actually like I think they're
I enjoy it.
comfortable. I like them, and the print's nice.
They are. That
Yeah,
the
no,
tri blend and all that
I just
stuff.
think they're nice.
The other way that you can go about supporting the channel is below all of our videos. There is a heart-shaped button that says thanks. You can click on that, and it gives you the option to donate a few dollars. Every little bit counts. Just as something as small as a subscription counts, and we highly appreciate any support that we get in doing this.
Yeah, this is really like this is what we love to do, and like we're so thankful for the community that we have that helps us actually be allowed to do this.
Right, exactly. Anyhow, that's all I have.
I think I'm good. I think I'm gonna go lay down and stop thinking about the dot changes. Like, cause it's been in my head. Like you pointed it out early, and I'm just like it's like, and you're like, all right, so like hold on, cause I gotta go to work for 12 hours, so stay up so we can record this. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I gotta hold this in my brain for 12 hours. I gotta think about it and like hold it in.
Yeah.
Oh God, like Jack, you're killing me.
It'll be all right.
All right.
All right, guys.
We'll see you all in the next video. Well, whichever of us wants to do it, you can do it.
No, I'm good. You did it.
Okay. All right. Well, see y'all.
See ya.